Welcome, everybody, to another episode of EPL on
Class is in session, hitting the books on Pub Sports.
This is another exciting edition of the main event on Talkin Hands. Bang, bang! What's going on, guys? You're tuned to another edition of the main event, Talkin Hands. So as I'm Preston, joined by Mr. Danny Betts, coming hot off the heels of a pretty exciting main event matchup we had last week. Our guy, David Benavidez, gets the job done, defeats Caleb Plant by decision. Before we preview this upcoming fight, Danny, thoughts on Benavidez's performances? And I saw he called out Canelo. Think he gets that Canelo fight in September that he wants.
I would love that fight, and we know Canelo likes fighting in May. Obviously, he's got that fight coming up with John Ryder, and then he likes to fight in September too. So, I mean, two Mexicans going at it. Why not? I mean, there's a lot of fights out there that could happen with him. Bubu Andre and people like that. Morale, but nobody's talking about him. But I think he needs a couple more fights. But good performance. It was a good scrap for sure. It went kind of how I thought. I was kind of frustrated because I had the round 7-12, and he started pouring it on him. I think it was probably like 4-2 going into the seventh. Plant's way. He was doing good, picking his spots, using the jab, moving. But after that sixth round, you could tell that movement was non-existent. I kind of wish that Benavidez threw a little bit more in the first half. Like went to the body. Like that first round was like nothing. Like they were kind of like low pace, staring at each other, trying to pick their spots. But in the second half, he turned it up. Went after him, but my God, like Plant was just holding on for dear life, and the ref. I try not to blame the ref, but referee was stepping in anytime. He gave him, I think it was round 9. The momentum was crazy on Benavidez's side. He hurt Plant, and I don't even know why, but the referee gave he separated them, and then he gave Plant a 10, 15, 20 second little delay to help him out. I'm like, what is he doing? Took him to the corner. But I mean, it is what it is. It was, for me, it's a good performance for Benavidez because we saw more out of him, completely. Better head movement, a little bit more. He was cutting off the ring. Like we were saying, sometimes he's kind of, hit or miss with that. Yeah. Good combinations, good using a jab. He outboxed him, honestly, after that round 4 or 5. And I know how a lot of people are not making fun of him, but are disappointed because of the whole nickname, Mexican Monster, and he couldn't even get the knockout. I mean, it happens, man. When you got the referee kind of breaking you up, giving him, a split second here and there, because what happened was every time they would tie up, that's you let go of some shots there. So Benavidez couldn't even do that either, but he kept giving them those, 5, 6, 7 seconds of breaks. But I like the performance, man, and I hope Canelo fights him after he beats up on Ryder. But we'll see what happens when that fight comes up.
Yeah, I was glad. Just obviously we both had Benavidez. We definitely thought Benavidez was going to get the knockout, but seeing Benavidez get the win, I know we had surprising number of comments on our video last week that liked Caleb Plant.
Yeah.
Which again, it was kind of what we thought, somewhat close fight, but the bigger power shots, the harder punches were going to come by the way of Benavidez. Benavidez would get the win, and he did, hopefully setting up that future bout with Canelo, which is going to be a tough fight, I think, for Canelo too, thinking about it right now, just early stages for that fight, because Canelo struggled with Bivol. Benavidez is a very big guy. Canelo is pretty small for that weight class. So if Canelo couldn't get inside on Benavidez, that could be a long night. But that fight will be for another day. Good win by David Benavidez. Anything on the undercard surprise you? I saw a lot of people were dogging our favorite fighter, Chris Colbert.
This is not biased because I was doing a lot of live betting on that card. I cashed on some nice tickets, like Ramos knockout in the end, Ramirez knockout in the end. I think it was round 10, 11, 12. It was like plus 800. But I threw a live bet Venezuela, but by decision. I think it was like even money or minus 110. And dude, he won that fight. He hurt Colbert so many times in that fight. I was kind of mad that he couldn't close out the show. I give him that. But Colbert was using the jab well. But it was like you said with the Benavidez fight. Shout out to Nunya in the chat. He was landing clearly the heavier shots. The one, Colbert can't hurt like left and right. And everybody saw that fight, man. Everybody saying the same thing. Like even the guy that did the interview afterwards, Twitter, like asked him, like, who you think won this fight? And he's like, I can't answer that. And then he asked him a couple more questions, and you could tell by his face, he kind of got mad. He's like, you know what? By the way, I thought it was a wrong decision. And then he walked away.
Right.
Like Colbert did not win that fight. I even made like a little video because all the shit he was talking afterwards. He's like, oh, he should. I'm not
no rematch.
Yeah, because he was saying that he was acting like a baby. And then he goes and says, I gave no excuses when I lost to Garcia, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, what? Oh, hold on. I got to go back in. So I started clipping on this right away. I remember the interview where he had with on The Last Stand, because he was saying excuses left and right. He was saying I was dehydrated. My throat hurts.
Yeah, he didn't throw a punch. He didn't even throw a punch.
He literally said he didn't knock me down. I knocked myself down. Like what? And you're saying that you're not giving any excuses? Like, come on, bro. That dude's I can't stand that guy, bro. I really can't.
Yeah. And Chris Colbert's definitely dead to me for that performance against Garcia, and then the chicanery he likes to do after stealing a fight,
Yep.
So he'll be fade material his next fight. He'll lose his next fight, depending on who they match him up with.
Yeah, depends who it is. Well, who knows now? I can't even trust the judges. Like, if it's not a knockout.
Yeah. And we were a little worried about the last fight, but obviously you couldn't give it to Colbert because he didn't even throw any punches.
Yeah.
Shout Kong's Clips here, new member. Thank you, Kong's Clips, for that. Got Nunya in the building. Definitely trying to cash this week. Two very intriguing fights for boxing. And our man, Andrew G. What's going on, Andrew G?
Andrew.
So that was the recap for last week. We can get right into our thoughts on this week. So we will start with kind of the title fight for this week. Former heavyweight champion Anthony Joshua taking on Jermaine Franklin. Danny, thoughts on this? Can Franklin pull off the upset? Will Joshua drop? I believe that would be 3 in a row. I think it went Usyk, now Franklin. Or does Joshua get back on track? What do you think here?
Yeah, it's definitely a must-win for Joshua. And we saw Franklin fight Dillian White in his last fight, which was a close fight, which a lot of people thought that Franklin won, including myself. But I mean, I wasn't mad about it just because it could have went either way. I don't know if you remember that fight.
Yeah, I watched it earlier today, actually, in preparation. Yeah.
So yeah, close fight. I mean, that was his first L. He did well for that reason. He's getting this fight, I'm guessing. But Joshua definitely needs this dub. And one thing I do like, and I don't at the same time, kind of, because he keeps switching camps, trainers. He is going with a good trainer in this one with Derek James. And if there's a guy that bring out the animal in somebody, it's gonna be him. And that's why my thing with Joshua, he keeps switching his style. Like, I want him to go back to the old Joshua. You're athletic, you're tall, you're got the reach, you got a physique like a bodybuilder. He's soft. I mean, what else can I say? He's soft, like. But he's got to use that strength. Like, he's got a nice 1-2, nice jab. Back in the day, he used to use that a little bit, enough to get people out of there. Now it's like he's trying to be like a real technical boxer. And my theory was because of that knockout he had with Ruiz. Ruiz knocked his ass out. And after that, he wanted to be safe, try to develop his skills as a technical boxer, which it's okay, but that's not really him. Andrew G says, Joshua said, if he loses to Franklin, he's retiring. I mean, yeah, if he loses to Franklin, he should retire, man. Because like Franklin's, you see his physique is like two completely different guys. Like the dude's fat, looks like he just came off the street, whatever. But he does have quick hands. Nice 1-2. He's got decent right hand. He gets tired in fights, but he still pushes through. And that right hand still has power. But the thing with him, like every combo I notice every combo he throws, he's just stationary. He's there to be hit like every time. And he could get picked apart if Joshua gets a little bit more aggressive here. Honestly, I was telling Preston and backstage, I'm most likely not gonna put my money on this fight. I mean, like if you got my Twitter, keep track of that. But my best bet, honestly, I'm thinking is over. I can't trust Joshua. Like if I want to believe that he's gonna change back to his old ways. And James is gonna bring that animal back into him. Get like a early stoppage, like around 5 or 6. The over under is around 7.5. You said, right?
Yep.
And that's pretty good. I was leaning over, so that would be my bet over 7.5 rounds, and then sprinkle the late round props because like Franklin tires, late, and White, I think in the last round had him hurt.
Yeah.
And literally right before the bell, and he survived. It wasn't like crazy, but he stunned him a little bit. And I think Joshua could, break him down and get him late out of there. But that's my lean so far for this fight because I just gotta see it, man. I can't trust Joshua anymore. Like I said, no disrespect, but the guy's soft and like mentally, I don't know where he's at. Like if you remember in that Usyk fight, the second one that he lost, afterwards he was like a little baby. Like he ran out of the ring, started talking shit and throwing stuff like bro, like just take this L and go, make yourself get that hunger back. You know what I mean? Like I feel like they baby him a lot over there, and like this matchup says it all. Like they're trying to feed him a good opponent for him to get a W here. But yeah, I like the over, maybe late stoppage, maybe even decision for Joshua.
Yeah, so current odds at our favorite book, mybookie.ag, promo code PUBSPORTS, 50% deposit bonus match credit debit, 100% using the Bitcoin. Use the Bitcoin up to $1,000. Have Anthony Joshua minus 1,200 favorite, Jermaine Franklin plus 600. As Anthony said earlier, I mean, Danny said it earlier, 7.5 is the total round prop. Stuck on Anthony Joshua here. Minus 110 both sides. And I think this Jermaine Franklin guy can, like, he was getting hit on counters left and right. Yeah. And kind of what you're saying, if Joshua goes forward, puts the pressure on him, he can get him out of there. I think relatively easy because White did have him hurt. He tired very badly. It was a close fight, but they were both landing kind of sloppy punches. And that's where I think Joshua, even with just the boxing experience, it's going to be crisper strikes. Like the left hook's going to come and land flush. It's not going to be like a grazing, like slow hook that White put on him. And then Franklin took it. Then he like threw a few back. This is a tailor-made fight. Like Anthony Joshua should kill this guy. Back home, back in England, London, England, hometown fight, hometown crowd. Franklin making the trip again to England after fighting White on like home soil. So we know he's not winning the fight, even if it's close. He's losing the decision. Like you could almost bank Joshua wins this fight, unless he gets caught and knocked out. Which, if that happens, Andrew G might be correct because that could be a Roy Jones type loss for him. Like how when he lost to Glenn Johnson, he had to take like a year and a half off, and he was really never the same once he got trapped and knocked out. But I like Anthony Joshua here. His KO prop, it's tough. Best you're probably going to get for KO, 350 I see, which some books do let you parlay props though. So I think he'll win by KO. I don't know when. I know Danny likes the over 7.5. I can't really say when he's going to knock this guy out. I could see, like a ref stoppage, maybe not like a clear knockout, but when he's going against the ropes and taking shot after shot, ref comes in, waves it off.
Yeah.
I just see Joshua getting it done. He has to win. He has to win this fight. Then hopefully he fights Wilder next. I know that's been the big, heavy rumor fight. And I think that fight makes the most sense.
Yeah.
Have Usyk fight Fury, Joshua fight Wilder.
Or
And
even if Joyce wins his matchup coming up, that would be a good matchup.
Yeah, he's next week too, or 2 weeks. Yeah, he's very soon. So a lot of good, interesting opportunities for Anthony Joshua. But yeah, he has to get this win down. I didn't like how he rematched Usyk really because he couldn't really improve much, straight off the rematch. Usyk was just technically the better boxer and could arguably be the best heavyweight boxer if he defeats Fury. But I do like Anthony Joshua here to win by KO. Minus 350, so hard to lay, but I really expect him to get it done. Okay, move on. Other big fight for the weekend. We have Robsy Ramirez taking on Isaac Dogba. Dogba coming off many close fights, split decision type fights, but put himself back into contention. Dropped 2 tough fights against Emmanuel Navarrete. Now he gets Ramirez. Ramirez looks to be the goods. Sensational finish of our guy Abraham Nova, and now he fights Isaac Dogba. Danny, thoughts on this bout? Does Ramirez KO Isaac? Does he get a decision, or you think an upset could be in the works?
I love this fight, man. There's a lot of good spots on the undercard too. I'm just waiting for the lines and stuff like that to come out. I already started studying some tape on some of these fighters, but Robisi, man, he impressed me a lot. I doubted him once, never again. So that should let you know what side I'm on. He former Olympian. He's famously known for being Shakur Stevenson back in the amateurs, Olympics or whatever, and the dude's a southpaw, and his left hand is nasty, and it's coming. Like, he don't give a shit. Like, he sets it up. Don't get me wrong, but he swings that thing around like he has one arm, and he still gets it through, and it's not lightning quick. And he had a fight, his last fight versus let me make sure I'm saying his name right, Jose Matias Romero. And he got him out of there in the 9th round. He basically whipped his ass with one hand. Like, he was testing. You could tell he was testing new things out, and he wanted to get the knockout. And Romero actually fought Pitbull Cruz, and Pitbull beat him by decision. I was watching that fight. Yeah, he was holding a lot. Don't get me wrong. Like, Romero was holding a lot, using a lot of movement. But that's impresses me because Pitbull, we all know he hits hard as shit.
Yeah.
And for him to survive versus Pitbull, and Ramirez goes in there and gets him out of there in the 9th round, and he actually dropped him in the 1st round and hurt him quick. And that was the first time this guy Romero has been knocked down, let alone knocked out. And he also had somebody else. I think, who else he fought? Oh, he fought Michel Rivera. And Rivera won by decision. He also, then knocked him out. So that, for me, that's impressive, man. Dogbo too, former Olympian, dude, stocky. He used to fight at 122. Now he's at 126. I think he's got like five fights at 126. He used to have a lot of power at 122, had a lot of knockouts, but ever since he went to 126, he's only had one against some guy that's not, like top, level. But the guy gets it done, man. He is tough. He gets hurt a lot. I noticed in his fights. He fought his last southpaw that he fought was Magdaleno. And Magdaleno was supposed to fight Rubisi actually. And Magdaleno dropped Dogbo in the 1st round, hurt him bad, and he was getting caught with that left, bro, left and right, like literally the whole fight. But Dogbo dug deep, hurt him multiple times, and stopped him first time in his career. So that was impressive too. He's another warrior because he's fought Navarrete twice, got beat up bad in both of them, but he got stopped in the 12th round in the 2nd fight, if I'm not mistaken. I'll be honest though, it's tough. I think the decision, it's pretty almost the same odds. It's like plus 120, plus 130 for knockout or something like that. I might actually. I don't like doing this. Like I said, you'll send me up on Twitter when I make my official bets because I like this late round prop on FanDuel is round 9 to 12 is plus 440 for Robisi to get a knockout. I might sprinkle that to make a profit and then bet him decision at plus like 120, 130 also. But the way Dogbo gets hit with that left hand against a southpaw, man, I think Robisi's gonna get him out of there second half of the fight, man. Because Dogbo, he's a stocky guy. He's short, has a lot of muscles, and the first half of the fight he's pretty, active. But that second half he gets tired. And Ramirez, I think he's just he's too decorated. He's got movement, he's got combinations, he's quick, and he's entertaining too. Like you gotta give him that. Like he wants to fight, he'll be like, "Come on, let's go, come on," right in the middle of the fight. Like give you a nice 1-2, step back until you come here. So it's hilarious, man. I like watching him fight. And I think this is his coming up party, man. Top rank, got two prospects facing each other, and I think Ramirez is going to be on top and come out probably a highlight reel knockout in the 9th, 10th round.
Yeah. So current odds, mybookie.ag have Ramirez minus 750, Dogba plus 450, round prop 10.5 minus 150 to the over, plus 110 to the under. I watched Dogba versus Lopez today, and then Ramirez versus our guy Nova. And Ramirez just looks a lot better, cleaner. Every fight I see Dogba in, he gets hit. He gets hit a lot. Mm-hmm. He takes the punches, but, he just gets hit way too much. He's going to have a short career with the way he fights. He's not going to be fighting much longer, especially if he keeps going up in class. I'll give him credit. He's fought, all these guys are decent fighters. Like, Lopez, Diaz, Gonzalez, Navarrete, Magdaleno. They're all, good, top 10-ish type guys. But he's too small at, for the weight. 5'4", 64-inch reach. Ramirez isn't much bigger, but he does have a 4-inch reach advantage. You can keep him on the edge of his jab. You can stun him with the left straight, the left hook, and get him either by knockout decision. Honestly, my best bet might be super chalk, but Joshua by KO with Ramirez to win the fight is minus 200. Now, I know that's
better than 350.
But, yeah. So you're getting minus 200. Joshua should KO Franklin. Ramirez should win. Will he win the decision? He could win the decision. But if I bet decision, he knocks him out, like you said, round 12. That's where I guess you could bet both things. But, I see Dogba winning maybe 3 rounds and then losing the next 9 pretty clearly if it gets to that point. And Andrew talking about the size of Dogba as well. And he's just, to me, too small. And this is huge. I'm not saying huge step up in class, but Ramirez has been the good so far. And I agree. I think he gets it done and wins the bout. Anything else for this fight or undercard that you'd like to touch on, Danny?
I still got to dig deep. Dogbo fought Joey Gonzalez in his last fight. Got a decision. It was a close fight. I actually had a bet on Gonzalez and could have won either way, in my opinion. The only, Gonzalez kind of screwed up because the first couple of rounds he started slow. But once he started, picking up the pace, it was a great fight. But he's on his card too. He's fighting this Mexican kid. And I think the odds are the Riros. He's the underdog, plus 300, and Gonzalez is minus 400 or something like that. I might be interested in the dog in that one. I still gotta dig into it, but there's a couple of things I really like about that kid. And that might be that's gonna be a good fight. That's gonna be like a phone booth type of, I'll take yours, you gotta take mine type of fight. So I think that's a co-main, if I believe so. And there's 2 Dominicans I'm looking at too on that card. It's a nice little card for Top Rank always put their prospects out there. Obviously they got what's his name? He's actually from here. This kid's keep an eye on this kid because he's gonna be a star. Abdullah Mason. It's actually from here in Cleveland, Ohio. That kid, he's only 18, or he just turned 19. This kid's got the size. He's got the reach. He's got the power. He's got everything, and he's young as hell. So hopefully they develop him, slowly, let him grow into a real fighter. So we'll see. Should be a good card though.
Yeah, I think both fights will be entertaining for however long they last. And then I do know that day Anthony Pettis fights Roy Jones Jr. Saturday.
Oh yeah,
Yeah. So maybe I'll have to dig deep into that card to see if there's anything intriguing.
Wonder if we could bet that one.
You can, yeah. So there's odds. Roy Jones is a -300 favorite to Pettis. So we'll see. That's Masvidal's Game Red Boxing. That's actually up the street in Milwaukee. So maybe if tickets aren't too bad, maybe that will be better than UFC San Antonio, which not a tough pill to beat there. Yeah, that should be it for us, guys. As always, make sure you give this video a like. Drop a comment down below who you like for these fights. Got the Ramirez Dogba, and then obviously Joshua Franklin. Thoughts on Plant versus Benavidez. Benavidez wanting Canelo, and anything else. If you want prize picks, prizepicks.com, promo code PUBSPORTS. Get that deposit bonus match up to $100 for prize picks. I said the mybookie.ag, promo code PUBSPORTS. Buy me a coffee. And any and all upcoming events, we'll keep you posted. This past weekend was Pubapalooza. Make sure you guys try to make it out to the next event when we do have it. And we will end it with our best bet. I will flip it to Danny. Danny, best bet this weekend.
This weekend, Robisi, I mean, it's not the best bet, but I like Robisi money line parlay piece for sure. I'm still torn if he's gonna get a late stoppage or decision, but I think he gets it done, man. Lately, the last couple of fights, he's really been looking for a knockout. And like what P and me were saying earlier, that Dogbo gets hit a lot, especially against a southpaw with that left hand, which is Ramirez's best punch. And he knows how to set that up. He changes levels, and it's so quick. You don't know where it's coming from. So I think he gets a late stoppage. So I like round 9 to 12 on FanDuel, I think. It's plus 450. That's a nice little sprinkle, so I might take that.
Yeah, I think that's really good odds. I'm going to go super, super chalk. But like I said, watching Franklin, round 12, yeah, White had him on skates, and White wasn't even landing hard punches. Like, he was, like, dead tired, too, and he was, like, had Franklin hurt. I think if Joshua lands one clean left hook, I think the ref will be quick to intervene to stop it. Just make sure Joshua gets that stoppage victory. Like, looks really good. The return, he got the KO, his big fight. So I'm going Anthony Joshua KO, Ramirez to win the fight. Best case scenario for Dogba to me is he wins 3-4 rounds. Worst case scenario, he gets sparked, early. Yeah. Kind of like what happened with our guy, Nova, where it's just kind of like, oh, shit, and that was the fight. But I think it's a tough fight for Isaac. I think Robisi has it in the bag. That's -200, heavy juice, which I totally understand. If you want to parlay with something else, there's no UFC this week, but there is tons of sports basketball.
Bellator, yep.
Bellator, PFL.
PFL, yep.
Yeah, there's got to be a couple -1000s in PFL who won't lose, right? So
be careful. I say that. Be careful.
I'm not going to say put the rent check out there, but you can find something with those two, and I'm pretty confident Joshua KO Ramirez gets it done.
Yeah.
That should do it for us, guys. Danny, closing thoughts? Anything you want to add, and where they can find you?
No, you can find me on IG at Danny Betts, on my Twitter at Danny Betts. I always put my plays out there. Like I said, I'm gonna dig into the undercards. There's a Showbox card on Friday. Don't see any odds yet. They usually send them out like the day before, which is annoying. But I'm already doing some tape study for that card, so I might have a couple bets for that. And you can find me here every Tuesday at 7:30 Eastern with my boy P, giving our best bets. So smash that like button, leave a comment with your predictions.
For sure. And yeah, as Dane said, we'll be back next Tuesday. Shakur Stevenson returns. I believe our one of our favorite fighters, Jesse Bam Rodriguez, is making his comeback too in San Antonio.
Stacked.
Yeah,
this weekend Saturday.
Yeah, so I'm very excited to see that.
Fundora too, or is it the 15th?
I think he's later, but maybe not. I'm not totally sure. I haven't seen the odds. I know.
I kind of felt like there was like 3.
Yeah, there could be. Yeah, and then come the summer, there'll be one fight every month. You know, where that's just how they do it. So make sure you guys stay tuned in to next week. We'll be back. We'll be recapping this Joshua knockout, this Ramirez round 11 stoppage.
Yes.
And we'll see you guys next week. So this main event, Talkin Hands. Peace, guys.
Take it to the bank.